The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, but squeezably soft host. Once more, do we go into the breach, dear friends?
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
It'll be a day. It'll be a day of... Well, we don't know yet. Not much happening. Up 3 points on the S&P cash. Other than that, a whole lot of nothing. Just kind of wandering around looking for the close. You got action in the first 30 minutes of the day. You got actions in the last 10 minutes of the day. And you might be able to take the rest of the day off sometimes. So it is those market closes that are the important thing. Volume is very pathetic for a Tuesday. We were pushing 200 million, maybe 250 million more at this time yesterday. So fairly quiet, 25.32 on the S&P cash volume, just 1.74 billion shares as we start the show. We'll get into some other stuff, but it's kind of quiet on the Western Front today. So let's get into a little history. Let's do a little news, and then we'll look at a little charts. I've got one that was probably one of the more interesting ones. But to me, probably the most interesting thing is why the stocks are moving the way that they are, and we may have an answer for that.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1995, the end of a sensational trial, former football star and movie star O.J. Simpson, what was his name? Nordberg in the Naked Gun movie, is acquitted of the brutal 1994 double murder of his estranged wife, Nicole Simpson Brown, and her friend Ronald Gold. Why did they say her friend? Couldn't say her boyfriend? Sort of friend? Anyway. In the epic 252-day trial, Simpson's dream team of lawyers employed creative and controversial methods for convincing jurors that Simpson's guilt had not been proven beyond a reasonable doubt, thus surmounting what the prosecuting called a mountain of evidence implicating him as the murderer. I remember when they were getting ready to actually announce the results. We had no TV in our office, and it was all brick, and you couldn't get a signal in it at all. So we put some carts together, wheeled a TV outside on the front lawn of the office, which was kind of like one of those standard office strip malls. The only difference was we were right on the end of the runway of the Cincinnati, actually Kentucky, Northern Kentucky Airport, which is really the Cincinnati Airport. And of course, every time we were getting ready for something to happen, the airplane would come over. We just had to worry about that. I remember that day fairly plainly. So it was a nice day. Anyway, seemed like everybody wanted to go out and watch the jury come in, but kind of bizarre. And of course, very, when they had the second trial, you basically knew that he was guilty. The question was, why did he win the first trial? And there were a lot of reasons, but probably the hubris by the prosecutor was the number one thing. Every time you see somebody come on cable news, you ever notice they always go, former federal prosecutor so-and-so. I think everybody could just add that to the list of stuff because everybody seems to say it on cable news. But anyway, when you actually get into the weeds, you had a very progressive thinking district attorney who, instead of having it tried in and up around the beach area, decided that he wanted it tried in downtown to get the flavor and let everybody see that he was guilty. Well, it kind of blew up in his face, got a bunch of jury guys that were people on the jury that they didn't really care what the facts were. They were more interested in getting back from and at people for the Rodney King thing. We found that if you've never seen it or ever been in a jury box, the one thing that they won't tell you is something called jury nullification. If you don't know about that and you go on a jury, I think you should check it out and find out about it. But that's basically what it ended up to, was a middle finger for other things that the LA sheriffs and police force had done over a number of years. And just kind of just to up yours, even though he was pretty tragically guilty and shown as in the civil trial, where they could bring a lot of things that they wouldn't let in on the jury trial for his actual guilt. But I'll always remember where I was at, and watch the slow roll Bronco ride down the interstate. That was kind of the beginning of all those helicopters chasing and watching people chase cars down the highway. Yeah. On this day in 1995. Yes, it's far too quiet on the Western Front, but the glove didn't fit. Well, somebody in the den says he's about the TV show, and that's very interesting because the plan was for him to be and have a reality TV show down here with his son and daughter, who were looking at a place. I don't know that they bought it, but it was going to be north of Sarasota, so fairly close to Tampa here. The Secretary of State, I think it was the Secretary of State for Florida, Pam Bondi, basically said that she wanted everybody and their dog to follow him around with a smartphone and take video of him on just the occasion that he does something that violates his parole, so that they can throw him back in jail. I think that was enough to maybe put the kibosh on that. If you tried that in Las Vegas, I think that there's some laws in what they can and cannot do there that may put a thing in that. Rumors are that he has several $1 million in foreign overseas bank accounts in his children's names, so probably will not have to have any kind of welfare program for him. But my guess is they're not going to let him off very easy, especially if he comes back to Florida. He will not only have video cameras on him from the reality TV show, he will probably have a pack of people chasing him around, trying to find him do anything wrong that could bounce him back into jail. So he may not come here with a very hostile Secretary of State. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Well, the Chinese want to buy the Chicago Stock Exchange. It's unclear whether or not that's going to go through. We've already seen a couple of these deals torpedoed by a new administration. I don't know if this is going to make a huge deal, but I think it's a theme going forward, which is you're not going to be able to sell things critical to the infrastructure of the financial business of the United States to the Chinese. But this continues to look like this is going to get torpedoed in the very near future. Don't know if it makes a lot of difference today, but I think going forward, when you hear about these deals, this should be one of the red flags, and that is, can you sell this, and is it a part of either the military and or the financial structure of the United States? More important to me is something that was on page 9 in the tax bill that was released here. It kind of lofted off the heads of many people. Buried deep in it is a sentence: to prevent companies from shifting profits to tax havens. The framework includes rules to protect the U.S. tax base by taxing at a reduced rate and on a global basis the foreign profits of U.S. multinational corporations. Well, what you dig into it in further pages behind this tax bill, basically this is the carrot and the stick. And that carrot is that you won't be able to kind of negotiate down the road and say, you know, we'll bring, if we're Apple, we got $200 billion. I'll bring $100 billion of that back and we'll spend it on a plant here in the United States. But you got to give me even a sweeter deal. 20% is not good enough. You got to give me 15%, and then I'll bring it back. And what this is going to be, at least from a cursory reading of this, is additional taxes on an ongoing basis for that cash you hold overseas. So it's going to cost you to leave it over there. And it won't be a free ride like you get now. And the question will be, want to be a U.S. company? If you are, then you're going to have to bring that money back or pay taxes on it, even if you just want to let it sit and rot overseas. that may be a better answer to the reason we've seen so many of these companies with huge overseas profits kind of roll back in the last 10 days. It's as good as any when everybody is in a bubble like mode in the markets to see all these other new stocks that don't have much cash overseas start to run as of late, especially the IWM and some of these other ones. There's a few other passages in there. Of course, we've already talked about them. That makes passing this rather tough. The first one, of course, is that you will not be able to deduct state and local income taxes. And of course, if you're a Illinois or New York or California, you shift huge amounts of money that would normally go to the federal government back to the state by allowing those folks to deduct a portion of your rather extreme tax structure in those states. Now, of course, all of those have 100% in the Senate representation by folks that probably would not vote for it, both California, Illinois, and New York. So you're not going to miss any votes there. They're voting against you no matter what. The question is, in the Republican House, are there enough people that would vote for that? You got a handful of Republicans out of California, even less in New York, and I think two or three in that. The House is probably where you would find the problem with this, because can you say that you're raising taxes? When you're not really raising taxes, you're actually keeping them same or dropping them on the federal level. It's just that you will not allow deductions for the state and local anymore, which was always a way of shifting money to those states and literally having the rest of the country pay more so that they could tax more in those domiciles. But to me, the interesting thing, of course, is tech and whether or not these guys are going to be able to sit on a nest full of cash for the foreseeable future. It looks to me like the Republican tax plan would mean that they would have to start fairly quickly shifting cash back to the United States and paying those taxes. Either way, if they want to let it sit over there and rot, they'll have to pay more. Yeah, we could see a red state tax. Okay, what else is going on out here? Or is it blue state? I never can remember all those together. That's about it for this day in news. So we'll get to charts. Intel wanted to see how this was doing, if there was any kind of volume going along with an associated breakout yesterday. It saw some fairly decent shorting on Intel. It's gone higher today to 39.70. Volume so far about 18.8 million shares compared to the 38 million shares yesterday. So kind of lackadaisical, but certainly when you look at that, does look like a fairly decent breakout. Volume was fairly good yesterday. Would have probably liked to seen 44 million. You got close. My guess is that this thing will probably come back around $38, and if it does on light volume, that may be the next buy point on this stock. Yesterday, we had a fairly clear signal also in the last couple of days on the RSX, which is the equal weight of the S&P. If you offset it, then we're to new highs. If you basically say that you're surveying it like a voter would and not weighing one stock more than the other in that 500, then the January 27th high at 22.18 was a high. You broke it 3 days ago with half the volume. You pulled back yesterday with fairly light volume. You're just going sideways today. One of the things that you can look at is the volume on this, and it has, well, let's see, turn it down. You can't really. From 2151 high of April 5th back down to the June 21st low. And then you compare that to this high out here. The energy has been significantly lower in this ETF coming up. So there's a little bit to show you out there. We also had a lot of strength coming down from the January 27th high back down to the March 9th high. So is this the entire market? No. Is it more representative than the S&P and the NASDAQ? Yes. This would probably be an early warning if you do not see this thing really get up and move. Again, this is the equal weight of the S&P, not the weighted version of the S&P. Okay. Well, we're going to break now. Give me a call, 877-927-6648. Got a bunch of people sending me Chinese. I can't read that. Call me at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Yes, AMD does have a pop out here today. And what's going on with AMD? Well, a lot of people on Wall Street heavily shorting the stock, so don't be surprised to see some rather wicked action in this during the day. This is going to be soon probably one of the highest shorted stocks out there, they suspect that this thing, at least the way I look at it, is coming back to maybe $8 or lower. And I'm not a big fan of shorting stocks under $30, but apparently Wall Street thinks that they know something. But Wall Street time frames and our time frames as individual traders are a whole lot different. They don't know when it's going to happen. They're willing to wait 6 months to sit on this to make 50% on their money. And so you really don't know that. And of course, when they get short, it makes very, very tough for people with short time horizons to be short the stock. But there were several articles over the last few days about how much money was piling up in this. And every time this thing has popped fairly strongly, you should be able to see. Let's try to make this chart as big as possible here for you, and then I'll zoom in. If you can notice my volume charts here, have a little kind of black thing. And on red candles, when they've reversed on the day, kind of looks like a little matchstick with a black part that actually starts the fire. And a red part, of course, is just because it was on a down day. The black part is actually the percentage that was shorted that day. You had big short come in both on July 26th and, was that the 26th? 26th and the 27th of July. That was kind of the high. Kind of got back into it again on September 21st. Yet again, another huge day of shorting on this stock. You're kind of back up here again today. I don't get the short data until after 9 o'clock at night, and then I still have to process it. So I really don't know until about 10. But you've got a fairly decent day out here. It'd be interesting to see whether or not they don't use this once again to pile on to this thing. But like I said, the way that they've been piling on makes me think that this thing is back in the $8 range eventually. If you're going to trade this, I'd trade it to intraday. And of course, more importantly, is Intel, which we already looked at. Let's take a quick look at Micron. Another day, a little higher, fairly light volume today. 54 million shares yesterday, just 21 million shares so far. So we may see at least a pause, if not a retrace, I think, in some of these SMH stocks here in the next day or two. Is anything else going on? Okay. Question about what's going on in Tesla. I already told you that we covered that. And the reason why is many times when markets start to move down, if you're in a very highly shorted stocks or ones that are hated, that it's not uncommon to see these things rally right into a pullback in the market, even if it's small. There is kind of a reason. I think it's the easiest thing to do is shake the weak hands out of a short position, even if it's fairly decent. If there's fairly high levels of shorting, what you do is you come out and you drop a lot of news like these guys did in the last few days. You get it all loaded up. Everybody's short at, well, let's say 340 and lower now, thinking this thing's reading the news today about them not even being able to deliver cars. And what does someone do? They step in and they buy some shares. Or even just cover their shorts on the way down, and you have kind of a big reaction on the day. We'll see what this actually ends up being. My thought was the last couple of days that we said that we wanted to see this thing probably bounce into the 360, 365 range and see all the volume come out, and I'll take another swing at this dude. But don't be surprised to see a lot of these stocks that are the most hated in any pullback be the ones that seem to be the strongest. It seems like, especially if these things are held institutionally, the thought is to defend your stock by buying it, not why it's on the way down. But the easiest thing to do is shorts buy on the way back up. And it's a lot cheaper than plowing a lot of cash in on the way down if you don't want to see your position balloon till you're the single owner of a company. So you have it. My thoughts on the SMH here. Did I show that enough? Let's take a look at it. SMH. I think we've had one kind of little blow off in this thing. We haven't had the last couple of days much to yell about. You've got some little dojis a little higher out here. Yesterday, 3.2 million shares. Today, 1.3 million shares. My thought is that this thing is going to come back into the $90 range at least. And again, if I start seeing any kind of real action, let's say like an Apple or some of these other ones, come back and really start pushing this market higher, I might change my my opinion. At this point, all I see is that Apple is bouncing off a fairly decent support level, but the juice is pretty poor. My guess is that you're at least going to see this thing back at 150, 50-ish. Again, the news hasn't gotten any better. And when you look at AVGO or some of those other ones, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of love in those. AVGO actually down a little bit. Kind of a little bit of a reversal day yesterday. These stocks started to move a little bit before Apple. And could Apple break 150? I think it's possible. And the reason why is the same thing, except it's a little different than Tesla. Tesla is rewarded for its monstrous short interest in the way that they can manipulate the stock. When everybody's long a stock like Apple, it is much harder to get that. You need huge shorts in a stock really to manipulate it easily. You can manipulate with news and other things, but people have been very reticent to short Apple itself. I've said that it's never been a great short because it doesn't move that much. You're much better off in the suppliers like Avago or SWKS or some of the other ones if you're going to play that. But we're down a little bit. Volume's probably going to be better than yesterday and the day before if we look to the standard trends. So you're going to have a couple of days. Is it going to be horrific? No. Could you see Avago back into this 231 candle of the 25th? I think, we're almost there today. But I think you get back into that 235 range at least before you find support. And of course, I've always thought that it was going to come back to this 227.50 level eventually, which is that July 6th low. And again, this is just because Apple, by putting out one phone and then saying the other phone will come along real soon now, and then you find out that Samsung still is having problem manufacturing the displays. The question is not whether this thing gets into the fourth quarter now. The question is the iPhone 10 or X going to be in the first quarter of next year? So keep an eye on this. We'll be back in a minute.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profile So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And had some questions about what happened to the Facebook thing today, and I don't know. I saw 3 articles yesterday that said Facebook was going to be in congressional testimony today, and I couldn't find anything on it today. So maybe it's tomorrow or something. Maybe they moved it. Couldn't find anything. I Googled it. Yeah, that's it. Let's take a look at some other things going on here. Wanted to look at some other stocks. ZAG is, if I'm not mistaken, a company that really is big on selling attachments for phones going into Christmas. This thing's gone sideways now with 4 dojis in the last 4 days, and there hasn't been a bit of information. So I kind of always wonder about what's going on in that. In fact, let's do this right now. Okay, what is this? ZAGG. Should have done this earlier. I just didn't think about it. Come on, where are you at? Oh, there it is. ZAGG. Let's see when earnings are. It didn't say, does it? October 31st. Okay, so we're about 3 weeks away from this having earned. But if you're not selling a lot of iPhone 10s, you're probably not selling a lot of accessories that go around with this particular company. This has got about 3 weeks. Again, I'm not a fan of shorting stocks under 30 bucks. But kind of interesting, this thing has done nothing but go sideways for 4 days. I'll be watching this one closely as another one that's kind of the canary in the coal mine for what's going on for Apple and Samsung and high-end superphone sales. Let's take a look at the XLF. This is broken above the previous high of 104 million shares on March 2nd. That was 25.21. So the last 3 days, you had 42 million shares. Yesterday, 52 million shares, excuse me. And today, we're about 32 million shares. You got into that high with 83 million shares on August 8th, and it rejected it. Here, we're going to go up and a little better out here, but looks a little thin. And certainly, you do not have a breakout with volume if you're looking at that. So that's one to probably be a little suspicious of. Of course, Wyndham Worldwide, another one testing a previous high. This one had 4 million shares August 3rd, 106.50. Got into it yesterday with 1.5 million shares, so not even half the volume. Not too surprised to see this pulling back a little bit today. The energy was not all that exciting off the August 18th low, but it was close enough to what the volume was down that this looks like it's in a $10 trading range, back down to this 95.30 level, unless it gets some juice and love here fairly quickly. Plug Power. A lot of these stocks that are standby power, like Plug Power, in the case of hurricanes and that kind of stuff, you wonder how long these things go before they actually kind of top out. Tesla, of course, having a little problem. A lot of this alternative energy green stuff looks like it's awful long in the tooth and ready for a pullback. April 11th, $2.70 with 47 million shares. We had 10.5 million shares yesterday that spiked. You got kind of a little tiny doji with not much going on here today. Now, this is a $2.80 stock, but if you're long this thing, given some signs that maybe it's time to take the money and run. One of the other ones out here that I found very interesting is Lululemon. This one's kind of wicked going into earnings. Let's do this. When is this one coming out? LULU. Okay. November 30th. So this one's got a ways. This one's coming up. Question is whether this is ever going to see the glory days of not Spanx. What are they? Super tight yoga shorts. I guess they're not even shorts, are they? Yoga stockings. This thing came down on huge volume back on the March 30th of about 50 million shares. And hit it with 1.3 million shares, rolled right back over. That was on the August 8th high. It popped again, filled that pop, and it's back up here one more time. Now, that gap down, we have 2.1 million shares, 2.2 million shares the day before, 800,000 shares today. This thing looks like it's got a fairly stiff resistance level in this little gap out here. And could you get one more gap to the upside? I think you can, but man, kind of a fad that maybe's moved on. It's in retail. It's got like every curse against it. Maybe somebody in the den can tell me. No, there's Spanx. That's what I was thinking. It's the yoga shorts is not a fad, or yoga. I think they're two different things. That's what I'm asking. Oh no, the Spanx thing's real. I was thinking about what the Lululemon sells, which are those very tight yoga pants, because this thing's all over the board. Anyway, back into this huge gap down. I'm just wondering if that isn't kind of like those calf warmers in the 80s that all the women had, and those, of course, went by the way of the dodo too. Spanx is real. I know that. But I don't know if they're into that. Does Lululemon really sell Spanx, or just all those yoga pants? I thought that they were a yoga pant. Can you even go in one? Is there one around? Yeah, is there one around Tampa anywhere? Can you actually go in? Oh yeah, okay. I guess just like going in Victoria's Secret, you kind of feel like a creep if you go in one of those places. If you're a single guy like me. Anyway, very interesting chart pattern. We'll have to do some more research on that. I love it when I get to blame research for checking those places out. Let's take a look at that here real quick. Okay, let's go back to a little shorter one. This is Eli. Wanted to see how this one did today. Going into the April 5th high, $86.20, a little less than 5 million shares. Into this with 3.5 million shares yesterday. So a little light on volume, not really moving back, but light volume today, 1.2 million shares at a high. So we got a handful of that. So we got a lot of these stocks that were blown apart and blown in half. that are just coming back up and filling these gaps again without much energy. Another one of those is this electronics for imaging that blew up on the August 4th? Yeah, August 4th. Did so with how much? 18.3 million shares. We're back up last few days, 400,000, 500,000, 400,000. 300,000 so far today. Pretty light volume for coming back up and finishing this one. So keep an eye on that. We'll be back after.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi, folks, this is Tom O'Brien. Come join me next hour as we bisect and dissect these markets. Right here on TFNN. Wow!
Was with Spanx and Rupture and Yoga Pants talk. So apparently we hit on a theme out there. Always reminded me of a gentleman that was kind of famous when I was first learning about trading. I forget his name now. I'm sure someone will bring it up in the den. But he was a big fan of sending his wife out to the mall, and whatever was out there that she liked, he'd start taking a he would always go take a look at it, whether it's socks or different places his wife and daughters would share. But with him, and God, what's his name? Someone in the den tell me. It's going to bug me now. But this is a perfect example of where if you have some real knowledge of a particular business, that you have kind of an edge up on many people. If you go into those places, you buy lots of stuff there. No, nobody's going to say it. I'm on a train. He had a big fund for like 15 years. And all he did was buy the stuff his wife saw at the mall. No one's going to say it. Can't remember his name now. It's something. He had a software program called Managing Your Money or something like that too at the time. Never mind. Anyway, Peter Lynch, thank you. I knew somebody would finally find it. Thank you. That's one thing you should always think about, when, I know cars, I know planes, I know scuba diving, I know racing, I know technology. Those things give me a little edge when we look at it. I had somebody want to ask about Microsoft. Not really doing much today. They do have a big dog and pony going on this entire week. A couple of keynote speeches came out yesterday. I've been watching some of them, mostly on web services stuff. Most of it's pretty good, but I don't know if it's enough to move the needle here. Kind of looks like we've got the bounce. I'd like this thing to see 72, 92 again on light volume and see what happens there. So when you can, not when you have to. See you here tomorrow, same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.